Shalom Israel, peace to the Maroons. We gonna get it in. First and foremost, rest in peace to Jonathan Price, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and all the other black lives lost to racist Caucasoids in the American wilderness. I don't know much about Jonathan Price, except that he was killed by a devil and that his murder is being publicized right now, which is a common theme in America, man. This country has a long history of waging psychological warfare on the so-called black population through the media. And our images are corrupted and our murders are broadcast on television repeatedly. But you need to realize, listening audience, that this is an age-old tactic that the devils from the caves of Northern Europe have been utilizing since the inception of the American colony. They would they used to hang black people. They still do, but more prevalently, they used to hang black people in their own neighborhoods to set an example for other so-called black people not to eyeball or be accused of looking at a so-called white person directly in the eyes or some other nonsense, whatever reason they came up with, because they had power like that. That was to instill fear in the black population. Now it's more to go to a race war, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's that it's a pastime in this country, something that they can always go back to. They put it in the media. They used to make postcards of black people, black children being mutilated, and other just atrocious, unspeakable things, man. So I don't know. The fear of genetic annihilation drives the white race. They're perhaps among the most fragile mammals on the entire planet, whereas so-called black people are undoubtedly the most resilient. You know, um, they, just look at how they overcompensate. They have to literally murder us in the streets. They have to set up abortion clinics, and they have to compound that with the psychology for black women that basically just live it up. Go to the club, listen to the music that they allow you to listen to that promotes a lifestyle of living fast and consuming your own children. Then go get an abortion, man. Just go kill your legacy, your progeny. You know what I'm saying? Go kill that thing and traumatize yourself. They don't speak about the part where you're traumatized well into the age of 80 about your first abortion, but just do what you will. That Aleister Crowley spirit. Just do what you want to do in America, right? Just do what you want to do. They gotta do all this extra stuff: drugs, crack, trying to split up the family. You know what I'm saying? All these things that they do, and out of what? Out of like a drop of sperm, out of fear of an egg incubating, you know what I'm saying, an egg fusing with some inferior Caucasoid sperm and then a black child coming out of that. You know what I'm saying? By black, I mean melaninated, so to speak, just a child with dominant features, because the features that we embody are the dominant phenotypes on this planet. So they fear that, and just look at how they overcompensate with their missiles and so on and so forth. Anyway, listen, even with the game rigged in the favor of those red devils who the world refers to as white people, they still have negative birth rates and are on the decline. Their American dream is in shambles, and they're overdosing on opioids. So I celebrate the destruction of my enemies. You know what I'm saying? Like, throughout our history, they have oppressed us and shown no mercy whatsoever. But anyway, I really think that we need to come together as a people. Is what's most important. And that's the role of the biblical Messiah, to bring black people together. The Messiah, or the one who was appointed by God to bring salvation for black people, the anointed one. It's a theme and archetype that the United States government fears very deeply. For this purpose, COINTELPRO was established. COINTELPRO targeted groups deemed subversive, such as the Fallen of Martin Luther King and Kwame Ture, and they used covert and illegal tactics to undermine the efforts of groups dedicated to liberating black people, because they feared black revolutionaries such as MLK, Malcolm X, Kwame Ture, the NOI, because of the radical powers of persuasion that such people had. And so COINTELPRO's mission was expressly to prevent the rising of a black messiah, just like it was in the first century of Judea, where Herod the Great massacres many Israelite infants out of fear of the coming of the end of his rule, end of the Roman Empire. And of course, the United States is modern day Rome. It's a sign of Britain, which issues from Rome, along with Germany, Luxembourg, France, Iberia, and so forth. The European Union, you know what I'm saying? It all comes out of Rome. So, Rome, ancient Rome, it hasn't gone anywhere. The United States, anybody who listens to reggae also knows that the United States is Babylon. It's clearly Sodom and Gomorrah. It's Egypt, you know what I'm saying? Spiritually, all these places. So it's gonna get thrown down. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like the parallels between ancient history or mythos, whatever you want to regard it as, and the modern paradigm are impossible to be ignored. That's all I'm saying. So every significant Black Power movement has been sabotaged. I think these times call for revolt. America itself didn't vote its way out of British colonization, colonialism. We need to have more Nat Turners, but I feel like that program isn't really built into our conditioning. So we have got to psychologically overcome our conditioning. Our conditioned responses, like putting up a tweet like, "Oh, he didn't do anything wrong," just a checklist of things that this person didn't do wrong and how white people are wrong. We protest, we walk around out of a conditioned response. I think that rioting is the most organic thing we do. But even when we go out to riot, that's co-opted, and then you got Caucasians doing whatever, setting up whatever agendas they got. There's no escaping it in America. We have to strategically extract ourselves from these white people, man. Even after so-called slavery so-called ended, we had Dred Scott, which still didn't acknowledge us as full human beings. We still didn't have any constitutional rights. We had Jim Crow, the Tulsa bombings on Black Wall Street, black people being driven out of Seneca Falls, which is now Central Park, and things like that. We need to build our own communities, but first, we have to be able to defend them. But even before any of that, even we need sisterhood and brotherhood. We can't keep calling our oppressor our brother, trying to love and get down with everyone who isn't us. We need to support each other and stop blaming ourselves for being manipulated by the so-called white man in his subtlety. I'm not saying this to seem to be trapped in an archaic mid 60s paradigm of progressive thought. You need to look at the signs of the times at a certain point and realize that our situation isn't going to improve. I don't care how removed you feel you are from oppression, our situation isn't going to improve if we can't love our own and ourselves straight up and down. The media is just an abomination, so I suggest that black people stop giving their energy into Fox and CNN, because both outlets are quick to publicize black death. But even to this day being from George Floyd to now, I stopped doing that other podcast after George Floyd died because I was just over it. But my whole life, like, I watch the news, they don't show Caucasian people being murdered. I don't see that on my television outside of movie magic, and I don't know if they're if they're um if they're doing that or ready to do that with the late brother Jonathan Price. Show how he was murdered. I don't know, but I remember how they did with George Floyd. I never watched the footage, but like just watching the TV, because I was celebrating, like when I saw the police station and stuff like that being burned down. I was drinking a Corona, and I was just not a Corona. It's Corona right now, but I was drinking some type of beer, and I was just celebrating. You know what I'm saying? Like, good, we getting better at rioting is how I felt about it, but like I would still see glimpses of him getting killed, even though I never watched the actual footage. I would see it on the news every now and again. I would just have to look away. Like, I'm not trying to see that. That's not why I bought a TV. I'm not into that. But we have to reshape ourselves to be more formidable so that we can't be afflicted psychologically by the little tricks the devils use, man. Straight up. Stop turning them for Stop turning to them for everything, and rather turn towards each other in one of all things, you know what I'm saying? And black women need to stop falling into the pitfall of Marxist feminism. I just see that as another form of devilry and Satanism. It has nothing to provide for black women whatsoever. I feel oftentimes that our women in large part have been co-opted as a man. That's how I feel. Like maybe the same can be said of men. I'm gonna look into that more, but obviously a lot of us have been co-opted, period. So that's, in large part. But I really feel like it's sensational among black women to get abortions, do things that are counterproductive to the black family, be swirling, be out here, whatever, with some recessive Caucasian or whatever. Um, you know what I'm saying? Feminize their children, their sons, and stuff like that. Envy their daughters in a lot of instances. You make a child with a man, but you don't want to raise the child with the man. You know what I'm saying? Reconcile whatever issues you have with that man. Be more feminine and receptive. There's just this pushback. I think that black women are under a lot of pressure to be masculine. They've been masculinated in a lot of senses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them have, and I feel like that's very unfortunate. And that if you can hear my voice, I really feel like you should turn away from that and be able to submit to a strong man. You know what I'm saying? You need to be able to detect and choose a strong man, not a weak man, not a man who's gonna hit you or a man who's gonna abuse you in any way. You know what I'm saying? You need a strong man who you can admire and who you can inspire. Like it hasn't always been this black man on black woman war that's been perpetuated by the Caucasians. Their hand is behind everything. So I'm not even gonna beat around the bush in that regard at all. Like the media is designed to desensitize us and cast us against each other, but from 1890 to 1960, black men would marry black women at a rate of about 64 to 70% before laws were set in place and our women were used against us. So we need to stop letting the Caucasian homunculus intercede in our family affairs. They've done more than enough. If you ask me, black women have been abused enough. They've been raped and sexualized historically, and you need to be stronger than the power of your vagina. We need to kill the static of competition that exists between black men and black women. It's not a competition. We need to educate each other and stand with each other and value ourselves more and stop objectifying ourselves. We've been seduced into looking at each other as enemies, and that's our biggest battle, but we have to fight it. We have to stop adopting white psychological defects and projections, such as the fear of being called racist, fear of being seen as a stereotypical angry black person in the eyes of Caucasoids. You really have to stop caring about what they think at all and stop repressing and self-policing. We just got to do better, man. And I've said it before. It's all about memes. You just have to put that, basically something like verbally, vocally, putting that energy into the universe. Then it becomes a meme, and a meme becomes an idea, and you pick up on that idea, and it influences your thoughts and your behaviors. So let's change our habits for the better. Let's confound these devils who, out of their fear of dying, are lashing out, thrashing about, because they want to take everybody down with them. Tell them they could go by themselves. Tell them to go to hell, man. We have to value ourselves more. And that abortion that you would have gotten but you didn't get, believe me, it goes towards that cause. Stop killing your babies. Stop eating your babies. You know what I'm saying? Have the baby. Raise the baby. Become the woman worthy of that baby. Stop running from your responsibilities. And men, stop running from black women. These other races don't compare to black women. Black women are the best women on the planet. When they're in their right state of mind, we have to restore each other to our proper state of mind. That way, there's nothing more beautiful than a black woman. There's nothing stronger than a black man once we're restored to our proper form. We're the dominant earthlings on the planet, and we need to stop playing ourselves just because everybody else is playing us. We need to stop being so dumb, like, oh, they playing us, like, oh, they don't like this about us. Let me change this. Let me change that. You see how things that trend among us have a tendency to go outward. That just shows the leadership quality we have. But part of being a good leader is knowing when to take criticism and when not to take criticism. When the criticism is just hate. You can't let hate affect you. You know what I'm saying? All these other people, they're peons to us black people, man. We need to polarize. We need to get our power in order. And we need to rise prolifically from all this abuse and oppression that we've been through historically. We the chosen ones, man. We the chosen ones. All right, man. That's been this key. I'ma holler at y'all next week. Peace.